Ladies, gentlemen, and spacefaring bipedals, welcome. As always, I am Cosmic, and today we're previewing Jaeger's upcoming free-to-play tactical space combat game, Dreadnought. The game is currently in beta and has a few multiplayer modes currently available. Dreadnought is something that has been anticipated for a long time now. It's something that I've personally been following for a while, since I'm a sucker for giant spaceship battles. The beta has two multiplayer modes available in the form of Team Deathmatch and Team Elimination, but before accessing the multiplayer, the game puts you through its paces in a short tutorial. Dreadnought's controls are simple and easy to pick up. The WASD movement is slow and often feels sluggish, but that's the nature of controlling huge hunks of flying metal. Some ships are faster and more manoeuvrable, like the hit-and-run Corvette. All the controls they do feel intuitive and work well, even if the pace of the movement is something that takes a little bit of getting used to the point, mind you, that I didn't enjoy the game at first. I felt that the ship movement was far too slow, but once you try the various ship classes, everything starts to blend together really well. Speaking of the ship classes, each class has its own unique role within the group. Very much a MMORPG style of group system, whereby you have ships that heal, ships that are tanks, ships that are fat hitting damage dealers. It's a lot of fun. It's fairly strange for a system to put that kind of system to be put into a ship-to-ship combat game, yet what it actually does is promote teamwork and communication to succeed. Teams going in without a support ship and a well-rounded team will be at a disadvantage. The ship class system makes each class have a unique playstyle towards the others. The giant Dreadnought class ship is your essential behemoth of a ship capable of dealing out and withstanding heavy amounts of damage. My personal favourite of the bunch was the Corvette. It's the faster and more manoeuvrable of the ship classes and is just for essential high damage hit and run attacks. It's a very squishy vessel that can't withstand many hits. However, it does come equipped with a cloak, which is why I love it so much. It reminds me of the love I hold for the Klingon bird of prey from Star Trek, having the ability to just sneak right past the enemy line, go around the back, and then go toe-to-toe with them, open fire. It's a ton of fun. Each ship's abilities have varied cooldown and reload times, all of which seem fair and balanced. Ship abilities correspond to what modules your ship has equipped. New modules can be purchased through progression. Each ship has its own various modules to unlock and, class-specific modules as well. One of the most important aspects of controlling your ship is the distribution of power. So you are able to boost one of your systems mid-battle, either weapons, activating shields, or engines to give you a speed boost. These boosts only last for a short time and will deplete your energy, and once your energy is totally depleted, it takes a little while to completely recharge. The combat itself comes together well. It's more tactical than just running and gun. Careful positioning, using the environment to your advantage is pretty much key to survival. I'm not a huge fan of the current maps in the game, in particular the planet side maps. For me, it breaks the theme to have giant spaceships 10 feet above ground. I wanted more space maps, asteroid fields, nebulas, various star anomalies. All that kind of thing would have been a much better setting for the actual level design. The planet maps aren't terrible, and they do offer some unique terrain to take advantage of. However, I want more actual space in a spaceship game instead of an actual Ace Combat map with just large spaceships. That being said, overall the combat is shaping up to be a ton of fun. I now see what people who play World of Tanks and War Thunder and games like that get out of those games. Dreadnought's combat is very satisfying as you watch an enemy Dreadnought burn after a well executed team attack. Now, there is a variety of progression in the game. There's also two in-game currencies. There's an in-game currency that you earn through battles and just playing the game, and there's an also premium currency that will be given out through microtransactions because it is ultimately a free-to-play game, and obviously you can't have a free-to-play game without microtransactions, which is written down somewhere, who knows where, in the developer's handbook. For what reason, I don't know. So the business model, it does seem okay. It seems like most of the actual items in terms of the core items for gameplay, like ship modules, are all purchasable via in-game currency, and it will take you a little bit of a grind to get them all, but it is doable without actually paying any money. When it comes to the cosmetic side, there is a ton of cosmetic progression. There's a huge variety of cosmetics even in the beta, and no doubt they'll be adding more. Most of the actual smaller cosmetics are available with the in-game currency. However, the big cosmetic items like the complete ship redesigns, you're looking at having to use real cash to earn currency to actually be able to purchase those, because they're only purchasable with the premium currency, which is one of those things. It does suck a little bit in terms of, oh, that looks really nice, I would like that. However, it's not a big deal. It does not affect any of the core mechanics or the core gameplay. So it's one of those things where it's basically just cosmetic. And in my book, that's fine by me. If you want to run a free-to-play microtransaction model, keep it cosmetic, and I'll pretty much be happy with that. Overall, Jaeger has seemingly produced a really good core game here. For me personally, I think it needs a couple of additions to really complete the package for me to be really invested as a player. For one, I think it does need a decent story campaign. It doesn't necessarily need it in terms of gaining players, but I think it would be a really good addition to the game, and just it would help build that lore and the universe a little bit more to get players invested on a narrative basis. Secondly, I think that it needs a ton more variety when it comes to the multiplayer modes. Firstly, I think that what you've actually created is a game that focuses and promotes, ultimately, even in its core design, communication and teamwork. So why not have that reflected in your multiplayer modes? Have objective-based modes that require teamwork, that require communication, and that would, for me, be a lot more fun. You look at games like Overwatch, whose core design is built around teamwork and communication, and they have multiplayer modes that is solely based upon objective-based gameplay. And I think objective-based game modes would be a massive step in the right direction in terms of longevity and replayability. Finally, they need to get all those bugs and server issues ironed out. Now, the game is in beta, so I'm not going to hit on it too much because they still have work to do. But there was frequent frame rate drops, there was invisible ships, there was going through walls, there was clipping, there was a host of technical problems, and that's not to mention the problems with connections to servers, with players dropping in and out, with lag issues, all that kind of thing, and those ultimately, as a priority, nailed down, because this is ultimately a multiplayer focused game. And if you're going to have a multiplayer focused game with a string of server issues, then people are not going to come back and play. And you have created what is essentially a great team focused game, and I think a massive dollop of polish would just be to the game's benefit in a huge way. So that is my preview of Dreadnought. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Do like, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you've played the beta, let me know what your thoughts were, and I will see you next time.